The Circleville Letters, America's creepiest unsolved letter-writing mystery between 1976 and the early 1990s, residents of Circleville, Ohio, were plagued by a sinister and relentless letter-writing campaign. These weren't love notes or political rants. They were anonymous, threatening letters that exposed secrets, ACCUSED, people of crimes, and in some cases, may have led to death. To this day, the Circleville Letters mystery remains unsolved, leaving behind more questions than answers. A quiet town with a terrifying secret. Circleville, Ohio, is a small, tight-knit town about 30 miles south of Columbus. In 1976, residents began receiving anonymous letters, hundreds of them filled with threats, allegations of infidelity, dark secrets, warnings of violence. The letters were postmarked from Columbus and were handwritten in block letters, likely to disguise the author's handwriting. They were sent to residents' homes, workplaces, and even school officials. The most targeted person, a local school bus driver named Mary Gillespie. The target, Mary Gillespie. Mary was accused in several letters of having an affair with the school superintendent, Gordon Massey. The writer demanded she'll stop the affair and warned that he was watching her every move. At first, Mary and her husband, Ron Gillespie, didn't take the threat seriously, but the letters kept coming. And then things took a dark and deadly turn. A mysterious death. In August 1977, Ron received a phone call, reportedly from the letter writer. He grabbed his gun and left the house. Moments later, he was found dead. His truck crashed into a tree, and he had suffered a gunshot wound. Here's where it gets strange. His gun had been fired once, but there was no evidence he had fired it at anything. His blood alcohol level was 0.16%, though friends and family insisted he hadn't been drinking. The death was ruled an accident, but many, including the letter writer, claimed it was murder, booby traps, and a bizarre arrest after Ron's death. The letters didn't stop. In fact, Mary kept receiving them, as did school officials, law enforcement, and other townspeople. In 1983, while driving her bus route, Mary noticed a strange sign along the road. When she went to remove it, she discovered a homemade booby trap, a box containing a gun, rigged to fire if she pulled the sign off improperly. Luckily, she wasn't harmed. The gun was traced back to Paul Freshour, Ron Gillespie's. The trial of Paul Freshour. Paul denied any involvement, but the gun was his, and prosecutors claimed he had motive. In 1984, he was convicted not of attempted murder, but of felony weapons charges and attempted aggravated assault. He was sentenced to 7 to 25 years in prison. But here's the twist. The letters continued while Paul was in prison, and some were even postmarked from where he was being held, though he was in solitary confinement at times. This raised serious doubts about his guilt. Paul was eventually paroled in 1994. He always maintained his innocence, and tried to get the FBI to reopen the case before his death in 2012. Unsolved to this day, despite numerous theories, including that multiple people were involved, or that it was a massive hoax or cover-up. No one has ever been officially identified as the Circleville writer. Some speculate it was a family member trying to cause division. A group of people took turns writing the letters. The original writer stopped, and someone else continued the campaign. Over 1,000 letters were sent over nearly 2 decades. Why it still fascinates us. The Circleville Letters mystery touches on deep fears. The idea of someone watching your private life, being exposed, being accused with no way to fight back. It's a real-life horror story, complete with a possible murder, a booby trap, a wrongful conviction, and a town living in fear. In pop culture, the case was featured on Unsolved Mysteries 48 Hours, several true crime podcasts and YouTube channels, the FBI's official vault. As they briefly looked into it, despite all the coverage, no solid answers have emerged. Final thoughts. The Circleville Letters case may never be solved, but it remains one of the strangest, unsolved crimes in American history. Whether it was one person or many, a real threat or something deeper, the case shows how words alone can destroy lives, and, sometimes, even end them. Could the writer still be out there, or were they hiding in plain sight all along?